What's going on? Dylan Conrad, Metabolic Mama Secrets. Today I'm going to talk to you about why you don't have to talk to your husband to do this program. Before I do that, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, turn notifications on, click the bell button, follow. All helps the algorithm. So I need to talk to my husband is the biggest objection I hear when I'm doing sales. I'm in sales. I have a service, right? In order for someone to do that service, I have to sell them in one way or the other into the program. And I'm not shy about that. Like, I've been doing this for 16 years. I think, I mean, I can rant about this, but I think in one regard or the other, we are all in sales. If you want to get your way with your husband, if you are working and you have a conversation with your boss, or like just in general, you have an opinion about someone, you want to sell someone on your opinion, you think that you're right. Like, we're all selling, right? Whether being selling or being sold on something. And this is the number one objection I hear with specifically moms. And I've sold men, women, single, married, all that stuff. And it's very disproportionate in moms. And a big reason, and I'll kind of get into this, is the kind of the mindset around it. Not so much around money, but just kind of like around themselves. So I'm going to get into that. But with men, I sold like men-dominated programs, and mind you, like, I have sold programs for $10,000 a month. I'm not kidding you, and I've sold programs for $10 a month, and it doesn't matter. It's the same. It's the same thing, right? It's the same objection, and it's I need to talk to my husband about this, and 10% of men need to say they need to talk to the wife. About 80% of the objections I get from moms about doing this program is I need to talk to my husband. So it's like very overwhelming, very overwhelming amount. Now there's like a logistical, right? And then there's a fear-based. And a lot of times what I'm finding out is that this is a very fear-based objection that I'm getting from moms. And it's not so much of a logistical thing, because at the end of the day, like, there's a saying, the reason there's a saying, happy wife, happy life, right? Like, I want my wife to be as happy as possible. If that means spending money on her health, like, yeah, I'm going to tell her to like, go do it. Right. And at the end of the day, that's really how all husbands are. Like, we want our moms or our wives to feel their best. And, obviously if they're struggling with their health, that's something that we are aware of. And we are fixers. Like, we want to fix this. We want to fix this problem. Unfortunately, what we get into, and I'll kind of get into this later on the line, is them making kind of a decision for us. And I'll kind of get into what I mean by that. So, with my relationship, my wife, when she was getting pregnant when did she get pregnant? 2019. She was like, she was like, is it a problem that I'm seeing this acupuncturist? I know it's a lot of money and da-da-da. I'm like, anything that you are spending money on your health for, like, you don't even have to like ask me. Like, I want you to, right? And it's the biggest thing I see. I'm like, in fact, like, just spend it. Don't even like tell me that you're going to spend it, because the biggest thing I always get is that like people need to check their husband. And I'm like, in this regard, for your health, like, you don't need to ask me, because this is the most important thing. Because this is what's going to keep you around on this planet. It's what's going to keep you the happiest. It's what's going to keep you the happiest. And it's going to affect every single day of your life. You live inside of your body, right? Like, if you're getting a car, you're in there an hour a day. Like, yeah, you have to ask me about that. And we have to make a decision, and vice versa. Because it's like it's a material purchase. At the end of the day, like, we are in our bodies 365 days, 24/7. Okay. So, a lot of times when I'm talking about purchasing other stuff, for example, like a car or a blender or whatever it is that, sometimes it's like a bigger purchase, right? And sometimes it's like, okay, is it a respect thing? Like, hey, I'm going to get this thing, I just want to tell you before you say, like, a credit card charge. Or is it like, hey, do I have permission to spend this money? And when I've done so much coaching, and that's why I am such a zealot for what I do and what we do at the Metabolic Mama Method, DC Fitness, is because like it's helped me really take my life and my business to the next level. I don't think I would definitely not be where I am today had I not done all the coaching and invested so much in my business and myself. And when it was very recently, I was doing a coaching program, and I didn't tell my wife that I was going on the call, and I didn't tell her I was like looking for this coaching program. It's kind of on like a secret mission, which is why I ask a lot of moms, like, are we in a secret mission right now? Like, your husband know we're on this call? But she was just like, I had this whole long conversation with this guy. We were going in the ins and outs of how the coaching program would look, like my goals with my business and all this other stuff. And he gave me the price, and it was more than I thought it was going to be. I was like, okay, let me actually just ask my wife. And I like put him on mute, and I shut the video off. And I called my wife, and I was like, hey, I'm about to do this program. This is how much it is, da da da. And she just looked at me like, what? Like, what? Like, why are you asking me to make a decision? I don't know the ins and outs of your business. Like, it's a little unfair that you're asking me this. And like, I was like, damn, this is exactly what is going on when I talk to so many of these moms and they talk to their husbands. It's like the most unfair thing ever, because there's so much that goes in these conversations, and like the male brain and the female brain especially works so much differently. So like your husband hearing from you the conversation that we had, it's very hard for them to conceptualize it, and they're hearing it from one side of the brain, right? They're hearing it from like, how your mind works, not really having been there. And obviously if they're sitting in on the sales conversation, they're getting like complete different things out of it. And so that was like the biggest thing I realized. I'm like, wow, that was extremely unfair for me to bring her in here, having no, like any reference at all, because she was just basically blindsided. And I asked her to make a decision for me, and she's like, no, it's unfair. Like, you make a decision, And at the end of the day, like, this is ultimately your decision. You as a mom, I always use this reference, like, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Like, you are the queen, the leader of the household, and the hat is heavy, right? But that's not why they say that. They say that because that is the burden of making decisions, and you have to make these decisions on your own. Because at the end of the day, like, happy wife, happy life. Like, your husband's going to support you, and really it is like you're just justifying it and selling them on it, right? And like, if you can't sell them on it, it's because you're not sold on yourself, or you're not sold in the program, right? It's one or the other. And no one is going to do the work for you, right? Your husband's not going to be cooking the meals. He's not going to be eating the food for you. He's not going to be doing the workouts. He's not going to be calendaring all this stuff. So at the end of the day, it's up to you for really step up into your being, right? And really become and empower yourself. And that's really why, like, I always say, like, our goal here is to empower women with the knowledge and the skills to, be their best selves. And because, like, at the end of the day, like, it is really, it's hard, and it's something that we have kind of created about ourselves, this picture, this kind of like thought that we have created about ourselves, this identity. That's what I'm trying to say. This identity we've created around ourselves of someone who is not in as good a shape as they want to be. And with that becomes a lot of different limiting beliefs about ourselves and about the world and everything. And no one's going to break through those except for you, right? And having someone else make the decision for you or help you with the decision when they have no reference, they don't know what's anything, and unless your husband's a coach, like, they don't know, they don't, right? And nor should they know, like, what's gonna be the best thing for you. They're like, oh, well, I know that you flake on your workouts and you paid for X, Y, and Z program. This isn't gonna work for you. Like, I know you best. And like, no, you're talking to the person that is the person that those characteristics of a person that isn't, those characteristics aren't serving them, right? They're speaking over you in a place of like, in a fixed mindset, right? But we really need to make decisions based on where we want to be. And obviously, like, your husbands aren't seeing that, right? And so, at the end of the day, it's better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. And a lot of times when we're going through this and like, oh, it's the finances, and they talk to their husbands, the finances, it's really not. It's actually the priorities of how they're spending money. Like, I've coached, very expensive programs, and, demographically, all across the range in terms of people that purchase these programs. And it's not so much of a how much they earn, but a priorities thing, because you can make a ton of money, but you can spend a ton of money. I've seen people that are making a ton of money and they're like still have like, checks that bounce and credit cards getting declined and all this stuff because their priorities are off, right? They're spending money on like too much on like just shit that's not serving them, right? So like healthy people and people that like are in really good shape, they spend a disproportionate amount compared to someone who's not in shape on their health, right? So really aligning yourself with someone who spends money on their health is part of you becoming, the version of yourself that you want to. And this is kind of like woo-woo and like a little higher level on ranting, but the main thing I want to get over to you guys, to you moms, is that this is your decision, right? And, at the end of the day, like, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? And, it's upon you to, like, not only change the dynamics of, like, your healthy family, but also, like, where you guys allocate funds, and if you can influence that, you're influencing generations and you're influencing your kids, your family, and just remember that. Anyways, Dylan Conner, Metabolic Mama Secrets. Hope this helped. Love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day.